Well, hello and welcome to Reviewed at the Round Table. I'm Jennifer, and I have a sort of different way that I'm going to do this show tonight. And I'm also going to try to do this without having to do a lot of editing. We'll see. But this isn't a rehearsed show, so I'm kind of doing this spur of the moment. It's a topic that we had on my most recent live show where we were talking about angels. And I feel like you can't talk about angels without talking about Doreen Virtue. Many of you in the metaphysical community will know Doreen Virtue and how for over 20 years she was just such an important feature about teaching people about angels and communication, and just really just an awesome teacher and an awesome resource. She changed her, I want to say she changed her path a lot. And she went to, she was always, to me, I felt like she was always a Christian. And, but she went a very different way now, and her path has really narrowed. So she does not believe in any of the things that she used to believe in anymore. And she calls it New Age. And she says that she doesn't believe in those things. And she even, a few years ago, I think around 2018, she published a thing, a YouTube video saying, please burn all of my books and cards if you have them. And she's trying to stop some of the publishers from publishing her old work still. I didn't burn any of her stuff because, first of all, she didn't pay me for those. And I did read on her website that she did refund people for a year or so, and then she just ran out of money, and she just does not have the money to do that. Well, duh. I mean, that's a lot of material. So just with me, I'm going to show you 12 of the 14 decks that I have. I'm not even going to pull out all the books because I started counting my books and I have over 20 of her books, and I still use them as reference material. So I want to talk to you about a couple of things. You can still use her cards, okay? If you're new to using cards, I highly recommend her cards for beginners. I really do. However, if you've been around for a while and this is a practice you've been doing, one of my friends and somebody that I really, really like and admire was in my chat the other night, and she was like, I just can't use them. I just cannot bring myself to use them because the energy is not the same. And you know what? I totally get that. I totally understand and get that too. I think that you need to do what's right for you, but I want to tell you, Doreen Virtue's son, Charles Virtue, there was an interview with him. It was sort of an interview. He was answering questions with this lady. Her name is Marilyn Devonish. And you can see this excerpt. You can see all of this stuff on marilyndevonish.com. I'm going to try to put this up on my screen. Hang on. We're trying something out, so hang on. Oh my gosh, it worked. Okay, so this is from Marilyn Devonish. She was talking about, Doreen Virtue wrote an A to Z list of New Age practices to avoid and why. This is something that she wrote. And this wonderful lady, marilyndevonish.com, she was talking about this, and Charles Virtue responded to her. He actually responded to her in messages on her Instagram. So I was just kind of, interested to see what this was about. Apparently she did a video. And so this is fascinating to me, and this was really cool. But then here's what hit me hard, okay? Should you abandon your angel cards? And she says personally she will try to make much more use of her cards that she's created. I get that too. But she still uses the Angel Tarot, which I actually have a copy of, and I'm going to show you those. But what Charles says on his Instagram is, please keep them. I still love Healing with the Angels Oracle cards. They are still valid and powerful. Times may have changed, but the energy of those decks remains as it was when they were created. Okay, now, I'm inclined to agree with both sides. If you do not have faith in your tools, they're not going to work for you. So if you do not have faith in the cards that you are using of Doreen Virtue, then sell them. Get rid of them, destroy them, whatever you got to do. I would recommend selling them because there's a lot of people out there that would use them. You know, people like me. But I have like 14 decks. And I use 1 or 2 on a regular basis. I used to use these all the time. All the time. But this is, I've sort of moved on. So I'm also going to show you some decks that I use to replace these, let's say. And a couple of my go-to decks and my favorite things. But I just want to tell you that you're not alone. If you choose to continue using these or if you choose not to use them at all, I think either way is perfectly fine, and I get both sides. I really do. Because you cannot work with your tools if you do not have faith in them. But I do agree with her, where she was at when she created these cards was like a different, she was in a different place. So you'll also notice that any cards that she did or any books that she wrote as a collaboration with someone else, you can buy those materials without her name on them and just their name. So Radley Valentine is a great example. I think he did several decks with her, but I only have the one deck with the two of them. So let's go through some of these cards and see what you guys think. Okay, so again, here's my decks. And a couple of these, I don't even have the boxes for anymore. Yeah. So this is the deck that I still use all the time. There's something wrong with my screen, sorry. I have to fix this because I'm a Virgo and I can't stop. Okay, this is the deck that I still use all the time. If you watch my monthly numerology videos, you will see me using these cards. And it's just, honestly, it's just because I love them and I still connect with these cards, okay? These are ones, and I am not 100% sure, but I think Hay House still, sells these cards, okay? They're beautiful cards. They're easy for me to understand, and I love them, and I connect with them, like, really, really well. So I use these cards still. The Goddess Guidance Oracle deck. And honestly, I've not found another deck that I love this much to replace them. Here's Angel Therapy. The Indigo Angel Oracle cards, you can buy these that just have her son, Charles Virtue, on them. The Angel Tarot cards. I cannot tell you how much I love these cards. I didn't really dig them at first, I'll be honest with you, because I've only really gotten into tarot cards in like the last 4 years. But I love these cards. These are amazing. And I've been using cards since I bought my first set of cards in 1995. But these are amazing cards. They really are. Then, see, I don't have the box for this, but it's Archangel Raphael Healing. So she did a lot of decks that had to do with angels and ascended masters. It's just a phenomenal deck of cards. They're gorgeous. And it is all about healing. And see, even in this deck, she has a card for Jesus. So she never, that's the thing, is that she never not believed in him. I believe in him. But I believe in every religion, too. So, Okay, so there's that one. Then I have Saints and Angels, which is just, oh my gosh, so pure, it's pretty. Messages from Your Angels, those are really good. The Archangel Oracle cards, oh, I, I still, this is like the, this is the deck that I use regularly. This is one that I'll pick up every now and then. And I probably should be using these cards more. But then we have the Ascended Masters Oracle deck, the Archangel Michael Oracle deck, and these are the first two decks that I bought of hers. And I bought these in 2001 and 2003. Yeah, I was living in Denver, so I bought these in 2003. Healing with the Fairies, and they're just really, they're plain, but they're beautiful. And Healing with the Angels Oracle cards. These card decks were so amazing to me, and it was something that I could read the book and I could really understand, but this deck of cards really changed things up for me. It really, really did. And so whatever she says, whatever she does, I appreciate her for just like helping me become who I am. But I don't believe that becoming the ultra Christian should limit you to not loving and appreciating other people's belief systems or religion. I don't. Because I believe in every practice. As long as somebody shows me that they have faith in something, I feel like we're covered. That's a good thing. It's a really good thing. So, there's all of the Doreen Virtue cards that you may or may not have. There's a blue million of them, people. I mean, there really are. There's so many. And she literally, for a while, I mean, there was like, there was decks for mermaids and just lots of stuff that not all of them I was drawn to. As you can see, most of mine are angels because that's something that I connect to. That's something that I just always have. And but I'll tell you, she made it really a lot less scary for me. And it's just sad the way that maybe she's sort of taken things now. But those are those. Here's what I've replaced them with. Not all of my decks, because I do have a new favorite, the Light Seers Tarot. I mean, I use these when I do, when I do my zodiac readings. I use them sometimes with my clients. The other deck that I use with my clients, like on a daily basis, is John Holland's Psychic Tarot. I put everything back in the boxes because this is not where I usually keep them. But I put everything back in the boxes just for this video. As you can see, these are like really loved, really worn. But I love, love, love John Holland's Psychic Tarot because they're not exactly oracle-y, but they're not exactly tarot-y either. So I've used these for a long time, about 10 years. And like since they came out, just because I loved his books so much that I was like diving in head first when he wrote this deck. And they're fantastic and wonderful. So if you're looking for an oracle deck that is a little bit like the tarot, John Holland's Psychic Tarot is definitely for you. Now, here's my biggest ones that I replaced. Doreen Virtue's cards. I replaced them with Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light and with Angels and Ancestors. Top two right there. These were immediate replacements for her stuff, because honestly, I have been accused of when like one of the places I used to work, they accused me of just being like, oh, everything is just so happy and lovely all the time. It's really not. It's really not. But life gives us lemons all the time. So I try to show people how lemonade can, come from that. So I try to have positive readings. These I feel like have that positive, like, emphasis on them, just like Doreen Virtue's cards. And that was another reason why I was drawn to her cards. It's not that they were like all Pollyanna. It's just that there was positive messages. You're in a crappy time right now, but guess what? You don't have to stay there. You can get out of it. Here's what you can do. That's why I love these cards as well. They're not happy, happy, rainbow sunshine all the time, but they tell you, hey, you can still work through this. So Kyle Gray has some wonderful, wonderful cards. I've already replaced her Angel Numbers book with Kyle Gray's Angel Numbers. Again, it's like he came along at the perfect time. Imagine that. It's almost like that was planned. I'm just saying. So here's the last of the decks that I used to replace her cards. Moonology by Yasmin Bolin. Yasmin Bolin actually wrote a book with Doreen Virtue, so about angels and astrology. So that was just, and plus that, it's moon stuff. I'm in, because I do zodiac readings for the new moon and the full moon every month. I like the moon, yeah. The other deck I use is Energy Oracle cards. These were actually gifted to me, and I was like, this is perfect, because these were a perfect replacement for, because I was looking for something to replace some of Doreen's cards. And a friend of mine gave these to me, and they were just awesome. So Sandra Ann Taylor, the Energy Oracle cards. The messages are just super simplistic, and there's fantastic. It's a fantastic booklet. It's just awesome. It's amazing. So there's that. Should you choose it, and I may take the time to do individual reviews of these cards as well, if I haven't already. Or maybe I have, and they just need to be edited. Here's another deck that I use to replace some of Doreen's cards, because a lot of Doreen's cards are very visual and very simplistic in the message until you read the book. Actually, this is kind of funny. She was married to Stephen Farmer once. So, and I'm not judging. I mean, she's been married 5 times. A big deal. One of my heroes, Elizabeth Taylor, was married a bunch too. So I'm not judging, but I'm just saying, she was married to him, incidentally. And I didn't think about that when I was pulling these cards. But these are really, really amazing cards. I love the energy of the pictures, and again, the simplicity of the message. It's a lot like her cards. So that's why I have used these to replace her cards, essentially. So when I do need something in a way of a positive message for someone that I feel like is really, really like drowning, or they're having a hard time, this is where I go. I go to like some of these decks. Not to say that I won't ever use these again. However, the couple of decks that I routinely use, the one deck that I absolutely use once a month, I'm not giving that one up. I'm not. The others, there's a lot of others that I'm just keeping. Some of them I'm just keeping because I have like a sentimental attachment to them. And I can kind of see like my growth as a reader over, 20 some odd years. I can see my growth as a reader like through the decks that I've purchased. So some of them I do keep for sentimental reasons, but some of them I've given away. I've given away because I do feel like these cards are fantastic for beginners. Doreen Virtue did great cards for beginners, but at the same time, Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light, which, oh my gosh, there we go, which I use again every month for the zodiac readings that I do for the full moon and the new moon. I use these cards every month. These are one of the advice cards that I pull. So this is a fantastic deck also that would be great to replace any of these as a beginner's deck. So if you're looking for something to give to someone as a beginner's deck, this is a good one. It's fantastic. And I highly recommend all of the ones that I showed you tonight, from Yasmin Boland, Sandra Ann Taylor, Kyle Gray, Stephen Farmer, and of course, John Holland's Psychic Tarot. Because I feel like this was just such a nice mix of Oracle, because there's chakra cards in here, and tarot. So, that's my take on Doreen Virtue's cards. Of course, I'm not just like gonna ditch all of these cards, because I mean, let's be honest here. I'm a Virgo. I'm thrifty. We're gonna say thrifty, and I'm not just gonna toss out cards that I paid a lot of money for. I mean, when you start adding it up, this is not like cheap, right? I mean, some of them were only $20. I get that. Some of them were $16, because I did buy a lot of these years ago. But I think that they're still valid. I think that they're still valid if you have faith in them. If you do not have faith in them, I 100% understand, because I don't have faith in her anymore. So I understand, like, the choices there. I understand, like, you know, that kind of thing. So you do what is right for you. You absolutely do not have to use her cards, but you also absolutely don't have to toss them out. If you still connect with those cards, please use them. As Charles Virtue said, he still loves the healing with the Angels Oracle cards. They're still valid and powerful for him. Times have changed. Times may have changed, but the energy of these decks remains as when they were created. But again, if you don't have faith in your tools, they will never work for you. So you do what is right for you. Toss them out. Give them away. Sell them. And find yourself a replacement. Find yourself a solid replacement. Okay? You can start with Kyle Gray and John Holland. They're fantastic. I mean, really, I don't use bad cards. So, you know, every card deck that I review, every card deck that I look at, I mean, I like them. Even if I can't use them every day, I like them. But this is absolutely 100% up to you. What you choose to do, whether you choose to get a new deck or you choose to use the deck that you've had for a really long time, it's up to you. There is no wrong choice here. I know. Opinions vary, and that's fine too. So, Doreen Virtue has a lot more card decks. There for a while, she was putting out like 1 and 2 card decks a year, it seemed like. But there may be a lot more out there that you may like connect with, and especially if they're ones that have been co-written by somebody else. Now her name is completely off of these. They are just under Radley Valentine, who, by the way, is fabulous. I mean, Radley Valentine has some amazing stuff. If you come across any of her books, I do recommend them. I think they're wonderful reference material. They're wonderful teaching guides. And she says that she doesn't want them sold anymore. She doesn't want them published. But there's a lot of people that still use them. So you again, you do what's right for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you got a lot out of this. This is a different kind of reviewed at the round table, but I just felt like we needed to address the elephant in the room. Somebody said that was the angel in the room. I think that's what she said on her website. Marilyn Devonish. She said she wanted to address the, hang on, I'm going to get the angelic elephant in the room. That's some really, really great wordsmithing there, Marilyn. But her name is MarilynDevonish.com, Devonish. And it's a really interesting read, and I like what she has to say. So just for reference, that's what I pulled up. I do follow Charles Virtue on Instagram and Facebook. He is still out there talking about angels, and he's a teacher. So I highly recommend you checking him out as well. So while we're talking about it, don't forget to check out my website at metaphysicalroundtable.com and some of my other shows that are on readings at the round table, because I do monthly numerology and I do zodiac readings for the new moon and the full moon every month. Yeah. Okay. I hope that I don't have to edit this down too much. That will keep me from getting it posted in a timely manner. We just talked about this on December 12th. So this is fresh in my head, and I just wanted to take the time to do this a little bit spontaneously and unscripted, so it may seem a little bit disorganized. I know, it's so much fun. Jasmine thinks it's disorganized because she's scratching. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day or a wonderful week. And until we see each other again, get out there and make your magic. Bye.